thinking about selling your business, you at least want to look at how this would happen if the right process were undertaken, not if it was done poorly. I'm Arthur Petropoulos, managing partner here at Hillview Partners. We're a middle market, lower middle market, M&A, capital advisory, investment banking firm, helping companies generating roughly $1 million to $10 million a year, pre-tax earnings or EBITDA, to sell their companies or secure capital. So in today's video, we want to walk through 4 common misconceptions about the business exit process. And that way, if you're deciding whether now is the right time to exit the business, in the future you want to sell the company, it's at least best to make that decision to determine what you feel is the optimal timing of it from the perspective of knowing how things should be done if they're done correctly. So to that effect, misconception A is that it is a slow exercise. And this can be true. There's plenty of firms out there that will take 18 to 24 months to maybe kind of sort of get you some offers for your company. However, if done correctly, as it is with our firm, we have offers within 100 days of any situation when a company is looking to sell a business. Overall process, we like 6 months start to finish. And again, that's when everything is done correctly in a proactive fashion. So can it take 18 to 24 months if you pick the wrong party to work with? Sure. However, does it have to be a slow process? And the answer to that is no. We like offers at 100 days, close transactions at 6 months, if done effectively, efficiently, expeditiously. Misconception number 2, it's expensive. And when you think of expense, you really have to compare it to what are you getting for dollars. If you spent $1 million on something and you could get $100 million back, is it expensive? Well, it costs $1 million, but if you could get a 1 to 100 return, not so expensive. So when you're thinking of selling a business and undertaking that process, is the process in itself expensive? Well, it determines what you get in exchange for it. So we talked about some of these firms that will take 18 to 24 months. Well, in some of these structures, they can say, hey, it's a listing agreement, like selling your house. And so if I sell it, if you sell it, if anyone else buys it for any reason, you still have to pay us, even if we haven't done any work with it in 6 months. Our firm, what we think the right way to do this is that we are only working for our clients as long as our clients feel like they're getting good value for dollars. Moreover, there is no instance with any firm that we're working with where our involvement, the incremental value of which, in terms of getting numbers of offers, values of offers, structures of offers, all of the other variables that have to do with the offers, does not far exceed our involvement. So what we mean by this is we've had companies come to us and say, we have an unsolicited offer for X dollars. We then get an offer of 2X dollars. And you can think of our fee in this situation, we won't get into the specifics, of a portion of that second dollar. Well, then it's not expensive if the involvement of the party brings in a meaningfully better offer. And so if you're selling your business, yes, having a bad representative is expensive if it costs anything, because if they don't create value for you, it's not a good use of time and money. However, if, as we like to say in every single one of our engagements, we can generate incremental value that far exceeds our costs, then we don't find it to be expensive, and our clients would agree. Now, number 3, in terms of misconceptions, is that it is a cumbersome and distracting process. And again, in certain situations, that can be the case. If your investment banker says, we're going to conduct a root canal of information just to get started. We need 20 years of tax returns and all the information for every employee that ever worked with you, and bank reconciliations and all sorts of legal contracts just before we get out there and start to have conversations with people, then yes, that is going to be quite the distraction. However, when we take a company out to the market, we know precisely what the acquirers need to get to the point of an offer. And so if we break down a process of selling a business into 3 months to get to the offers and say 3 months of formal diligence, then yes, if we have an agreed upon offer at terms that are exciting, at a structure that is exciting for our client, then there will be some work during the formal diligence process, the confirmatory diligence process towards a closing, that necessitates some additional information. And that can be those types of tax returns and things of that nature. However, the amount of information that's necessary to get to offers is far less than what most people think. You need to have the right narrative to the right audience with the right process. However, the amount of man hours that a client needs to put forth in order to get to those offers, in our case, can be 5 to 10 hours in some situations. And so can the process of selling your business be cumbersome? Can it be distracting? Yes, if you try to do it yourself. Yes, if you use a suboptimal partner. However, the right partner will make it a much more leveraged or lower effort for higher impact type of exercise. And last misconception of selling a business is that it has to be loud, that it has to be on BizBuySell or the Zillow of businesses, that it has to be on billboards, that everybody in the world has to know, your competitors, your clients, your employees all have to know that the business is for sale. And the reality of that is similarly just not true. If a process is facilitated correctly, the announcement can be made, if you will, internally within the company, a matter of weeks before the closing, or sooner if an owner decides to do so. However, that can still be done effectively at that kind of a timing. And then to the outside world, it doesn't even need to be announced if it's not a desire to be announced. If the desire is to simply say, XYZ capital or strategic partner has partnered up, and people just keep working with you as a company, then it could be years down the road before they say, oh, whatever happened to so-and-so, the owners of the business? Oh, well, they had sold the business and transitioned out, or they take on a strategic partner and transitioned out. And if the business, service, product, or offering continues to be provided to the customer base in an effective manner, then people are fine with it. It does not create a disruption. And the whole process can be done discreetly. We've had deals that have gone down to the 10-yard line where we've had multiple offers on the deal, and for some reason the seller decides not to sell the company, whether they decide to keep operating it for some period of time, whether they decide to hand it down to family, and there was a change of heart in that regard. And the outside world never knows that any process was ever even being contemplated. So, can the sale of a business be loud, make a lot of noise, and make disruptions? It absolutely can. But if done correctly, that is not a necessity and really is indicative of a poorly operated process in many ways. And so, recapping the thoughts from this video, covering 4 misconceptions about selling a business. 1, does it have to be slow? And the answer is no. If done correctly, offers can be generated, multiple offers for a business within 100 days, and we've repeated that exercise on over 100 deals and can say that that is certainly capable. 2, it's expensive. Again, if you could spend a dime to get a dollar, if you could spend a nickel to get $5, is that expensive? No. So again, it's all about productivity. If the production, if the results of the exercise can yield a meaningfully better outcome vis-a-vis the cost of the exercise, then it is not expensive. However, if it doesn't get you a better outcome, then any price is expensive. So again, it really comes down to the right partner, the right process. Number 3, it's cumbersome, it's distracting. Again, if done poorly, that is certainly the case. If done correctly, it is not the case. And 4, just the same, does it have to be loud? And the answer is no. Businesses are quietly sold every day, thousands and thousands of times a year. Nobody knows in many situations. However, there's plenty that fall apart publicly and make a big mess. Do you think celebrities sue each other all day? Absolutely. But not everybody is like Blake Lively and this other guy yelling and screaming about it. It's the same thing in selling a business. Sometimes it can be done poorly, it can be done loudly, it can make a big disaster, but if done correctly, it can be done quietly, discreetly, and still effectively. And so the idea here is, if you're thinking about selling a business, if you're thinking about selling your business at some point in the future, don't think of it through the lens of the worst way it can be done. It's like thinking about building a house. If you're going to think about building a house, think about how it could be done well, not how it could be done poorly. And we'd say the same thing with selling a company. If you're going to contemplate it, and whether you're going to use us or anybody else, take it from the lens of, if it's done correctly, what are the misconceptions? What is the likely road that you're going to see? So that's a thought for today. Hope the week's getting off to a good start for everyone. Keep pushing forward. God bless. We'll see everyone next time.